Let's talk about the Rock and Roll Express. We're on tag teams today. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson.
Yeah.
They really took the NWA by storm back when. What made them so popular? I guess just everything, right?
Everything. Handsome kids, could work, a lot of energy. Ricky Morton, like I said, Ricky was just an incredible performer. I want the word great all day long on Ricky Morton. That wasn't the biggest, but he could think about Ricky, man. He could smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day and wrestle an hour, and just like that. No, Ricky, and what a good kid, man. Robert too, but just Ricky just had the it factor. It's kind of like Ricky Morton was the Shawn Michaels of the Jannetty Michaels team.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. And one thing about Ricky, and I think we spoke about this on a previous episode, Nate, nobody sold better than Ricky Morton. Nobody sold as consistently in a style where everything made sense. Everything he sold was totally logical. He did it the right way and for just the right amount of time.
Steamboat, Shawn Michaels, Ricky Morton. Nobody sold like Ricky Steamboat.
I think Ricky Morton's right there, though.
Yeah, he's close. But having been in the ring with both, Ricky's smaller. When Steamboat, the facials on him and the way he'd go down.
Yep.
You don't see it anymore. It's just not there. And Shawn the same way.
Well, part of it is I don't think it's considered to be as important now, to be blunt.
Yeah. Well,
I think everything's about getting your stuff in, getting your shit in. I can swear here.
Yeah. No, it's the truth.
Nate, Punk had a match with Wardlow, who is a really promising kid, and I think he's going to be tremendous. I'm not sure if he's going to be tremendous there. I think, frankly, he's more of a WWE-style performer, but I don't know what his contract details are. But Punk gave Wardlow a lot in that match. He sold a lot. We're talking about selling now. That didn't make a lot of sense to you, did it?
Well, if Punk is arguably their top star, I would always just keep him. You know, he's already proved that he can work his ass off, right? And I would always keep him, in matches in TV where he took more of the match, unless he's going into the angle like he is right now with the other guy. Considering that he's going to wrestle, have to get up, make a promo with MJF and all that. I just would have shortened it up. And I think he's being over generous. I mean that doesn't make him a bad guy. That has been my style forever too. But I just think that he's going into this big program. He doesn't need to be quite as generous.
Yeah, let me play devil's advocate. I think Wardlow's going to be a star. I'm not sure it's going to be in AEW. I think he's more of a WWE type guy, although I don't know what his contract status is. But in general, I agree. But that's the way it is now. Everybody oversells. Everybody has matches that are too long. Everybody's over.
No, everybody doesn't go over. Everybody doesn't oversell. They just try to put too much in.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
That's right. I mean,
it's like one high spot, and some of the bumps they take are incredible, and then these incredible bumps. I'm not using that match as an example, but if you're watching these incredible bumps that these guys give each other, and I mean out of this world, and then they use a roll up or a run in for a finish. It absolutely kills me.
Now, getting back to the Rock and Roll Express, when you had singles matches with Ricky Morton, what made those work? Because at a glance, that looks like a mismatch in your favor.
What made it work is he could work. I mean, it's a very simple, and he was over. We did. I told you, we did 9-hour draws in 1 week.
That was Great American Bash Tour, right?
No, that was just a regular week.
A loop.
Yep. Great American Bash Tour, I wrestled mostly. The Great American Bash Tours was either me and Sting, me and Nikita, me and Ricky, me and Hawk, me and Animal. I had singles with everybody, or the War Games. The War Games were huge.
Well, and you mentioned that Ricky being so over got the match over. But I think you made him believable too. I think you sold as much for him as he did for you.
Oh, absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Oh,
He never,
well, some guys
he
wouldn't.
never, he never took a deep breath. And Ricky Morton stayed out with me all night long too. Hell, I fell off my boat one night. Fell off I had that big sea ray, Lake Wiley. We out at 3 o'clock in the morning, music playing like hell, drinking like crazy, pitch black. Just I got the lights on the boat, and I went up to the front and fell off, and I'm in the middle of the lake, right? And I'm with Freddie Floyd and Ricky Morton and Beth and whoever else was on the trip. And I'm in the middle of the lake, about a half a mile each way. So I go, God, you sober up real quick when you realize you're going to start swimming, right? And Ricky Morton noticed that I wasn't there, and they came back, man. But it was about 10 minutes of me treading water, waiting like, that's one time in nature could never been found. The bottom of the dam.
I love the interview you did with Ricky Morton where you pulled out the training bra and talked about the teeny boppers that were Ricky's fans. I always wondered, where did you get a training bra?
I just thought of it because it was all these little girls. I said, I've used that line a few times that people I've met along the way.
Well, yeah, but in this case, you actually had a training bra that you held up for the camera. Where did you get that?
I went and bought it somewhere, I guess.
I would love to have been there when Ric Flair went in and bought a training bra.
Yeah, maybe I sent someone to do it. How about when I dressed up Jimmy Garvin's, when I dressed up Precious?
Dressed up the mannequin as Precious, correct?
Yeah. Barnett said to me, "You're going to cost me TV."
That was your idea, I take it.
Absolutely. I'll take credit for the good stuff.
Now, I want to talk about Robert Gibson because I thought he was the glue for the Rock and Roll Express.
He was.
I thought Ricky was the sizzle and Robert was the steak.
Yep. Robert was the ladies' man. Oh, they both were, but Robert ran some heavy numbers.
Well, what about in the ring? He ran some pretty heavy numbers there, too.
Yeah, great in the ring. Great. Yeah. No, I thought they were both, and they're fabulous guys. I mean, to this day, we're friends. We see each other. Nothing's ever changed. And we're respectful of each other. And that's hard to find in this business because the majority of my friends right now, and that are even alive, of the wrestlers, I talk to Hulk, and I talk to Terry Taylor once in a while, but you don't see him anymore. And now that I'm not with the company, I'm not going to be going to these shows. And I was close to Orton and Edge, and I talk to those guys, but it's not like it's a routine that you are eventually going to have to get out of. And that's why I'm lucky to have so many friends outside of the business. And that is who primarily I socialize with.
Now, did it help the team that Robert was a slightly different worker than Ricky? That Robert was a bit more grounded? I mean, they did the double drop kick. They both got up in the air for that. But I thought their slight difference in style really made the team that much more interesting.
Absolutely. That's why. And just a huge ball of fire with a lot of color. And then girls loved him, which meant boys were buying tickets. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Those
yeah, and
guys,
the toughest thing to do, I think the toughest thing to do is get the girls in there, don't you?
No, but now it's a guy's soap opera. In the 80s.
Well, now it's the sausage party, let's be honest.
Yeah, okay, but you don't understand. When I first met those guys, they were leaving another team out that was incredible, as Midnight Express.
No, we're going to get to them in a few minutes, actually.
Yeah, okay, so when I first met those guys, I was wrestling for Watts in Tulsa. And Cornette was there, and I mean, God, they had a full-scale riot. That Tulsa territory, or that Mid-South area was a tough area. If you had some heat going in or out of the ring, and Cornette was fearless. I got to tell you, because he would get the shit beat out of him. but he came in back every time, and they sold out everything. I could be wrong, but I think that the Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express probably drew as much money as JYD.
Oh, in Mid-South, I think that's probably correct. And I think
Yeah,
probably
a little less, but they're right there. They're number two.
yeah, and
they
maybe
were,
for a longer time too,
Yep.
because they kept going back to it. And how much did the music and the rock and roll appearance have to do with the Rock and Roll Express's success? Because that was kind of groundbreaking in that day, wasn't it? Them and the
It was.
Freebirds.
Yep. Yeah. And guess who invented that? Michael Hayes. I still talk to Mike a lot.
Well, Michael Hayes invented the Rock and Roll Express or the rock and roll concept with the Freebirds.
He invented music. I'm going to
putting
give him
music
credit
with
for that.
the entrances and so forth.
Yes. Yep. He and Keith Mitchell.
Now, was your entrance music always 2001, or did you have something before that? If
No,
you did, I don't
out,
remember.
I came out the Sharp Dressed Man for a while.
ZZ Top.
Yep.
And then you went to 2001. I
yeah.
said, that's the only entrance music I remember.
Yeah, Dusty gave me that. Yeah, it's me, Elvis, and Frank Sinatra.
That's right. That's exactly right. I was going to say
The
that.
big three. The big three.
I knew who I would write number one.
Well, you have to. The other two aren't here to claim any different.
Now, Ricky is 65 years old, and Robert
And
Gibson
still working.
63, and they have matches. That's right. They're wrestling
I know.
FTR.
I know.
They either just did or they're going to on an indie show. I'm 61, and I can't even get up off the couch. That's amazing because they're still doing okay.
Yeah, they are. Ricky Morton he never go down. First of all, God bless the fact that they haven't had, career-threatening injuries, because Ricky's not a guy that goes to the gym every day. He just keeps going. He's got a motor, and Hoot has got a special a gift too. Anytime you can, my last match actually was. Let me think. With Sean, I was 59, and then I went to TNA and screwed around there. So, which I never should have done. But we've talked about that earlier. But to be able to go out there in 59 and still have a reasonably good match, which I was fortunate enough to be with Shawn Michaels. But Ricky, I wrestled Ricky. God, I can't remember. I may have wrestled Ricky once or twice after I retired from WWE. And he could still go. And he still looks good.
Yeah, he still looks like Ricky Morton. That's what's important.
Yeah, exactly.
And Hoot looks like Hoot as well.
Yep, exactly.
Now, I have to give FTR credit, and we both have them in our top three tag teams. They really pay homage to the old school tag guys. In fact, sometimes it goes a little overboard, but they don't forget who their influences were, and they certainly credit them, and that includes Tully and Arn, obviously.
Yes. Yep. So I like seeing Tully and Arn on TV the other night too. That's always a thrill for me.
Where did the rock and roll peak? You mentioned Mid-South. I'm wondering if it wasn't Crockett in the mid to late 80s.
Most definitely Crockett. Only because it was a bigger territory. You know what I mean? We're talking about I wrestled Ricky Morton in a cage in Charleston, West Virginia. Part of the Great American Bash. We just sold out everywhere. And the next night I wrestled Ronnie Garvin. The next night I'd wrestle Dusty. The next night I'd wrestle Sting or Luger or Nikita. We had a hell of a crew back then. And I'll say it. I've been saying it for 30 years. If we had just stayed east of Chicago, we would still be in business.
I agree. I totally agree.
We were
went
killing
too far, too fast.
We were killing in Baltimore. We were selling out the Civic Center in Philadelphia. We sold out everywhere in the South, and the South was becoming bigger. By that I mean we went from Richmond to Baltimore to Philly. Sold out everywhere. We first a couple of times we went up to Philly. We didn't have anything except me and Magnum and me and Steamboat going an hour, and then me and Magnum going an hour, and then coming back, and we finally built it where we're sold out, and we would be sold out at the same time that the WWE was in the Spectrum, and then we'd all go back to the Marriott and party.
How come the Rock and Roll never got a shot, a lengthy run in WWE? I'm not sure there's an answer to that, but it's worth saying.
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that either.
Did they fit the WWE mold? I mean, they were real small for WWE, and they were too Southern for WWE too, and that was a factor no matter what they might say now.